and a recording. Oh.
Well. Thank you very much, everybody. If it was easy to do so, I would stand up and take a bow and all the rest of it.
Oh.
Uh, but I can't do that here. I can't do it in real life either, easily. So, we will leave it be. I should just thank you for the yay. Right, my name is Mal Burns, in case you didn't know. That's M-A-L, one name, and B-U-R-N-S, the second name, the surname. But, of course, as is almost ubiquitous on the World Wide Web or even online, you're going to have to get squashed. Yep. I'm going to get squashed, and you can come get squashed with me. That sounds a bit, well, yes, let's be intimate. This show's very intimate, really, isn't it? Well, I don't know about that, but twitter.com/Malburns, one word, no space, M-A-L-B-U-R-N-S, because that is what the webs do to you. They squash you. And we got an extra Twitter feed for Metaworld News, twitter.com/Metaworld News. And even those two names have been squashed. So, I shall have to start a new Twitter feed called twitter.com/squashed. Oh, maybe not. I did invent a word today, although I'm not actually sure that there's so many people trying to define the metaverse, and I'm not going to even go to the people that think it's plural.
Yeah.
I sat there wondering and thinking, well, maybe the thing to do is to think of the opposite direction, right? What is the opposite of the metaverse? Assuming that the metaverse is a kind of conjunction of everything online, including, of course, the spatial web, 3D world. And I thought, well, we talk about the organic space or the physical space. And actually, what it's all about, even in outer space for that matter, is matter. I think, does it matterverse? No, there's a lot of plays on words. But I suddenly thought, okay, well, the opposite of the metaverse is the matterverse. And so I will start a talk show called Beyond Matterverse. No, Beyond the Matterverse.
Okay.
I think that explains it quite well, because we're talking about everything that is beyond the world of matter. In other words, electronic, whatever. All the elements that ultimately come together to create what eventually a metaverse would be. As they say, it's a kind of electronic equivalent of universe. You don't get too many people sort of saying, we're going to go and explore the universes. They're having a bit of trouble with the first one. So, go figure. And as for the billionaires who's taking space travel not too very seriously, who was it? Elon Musk managed to get himself a bit of anti-gravity. Richard Branson didn't get high enough to have anti-gravity. And the view out of the window on both of them wasn't space at all. It was like an airplane view, but a bit higher. So go figure. Anyway, so I believe that I'm going to be able to manipulate the word metaverse a little bit and see if that works. So I actually came up with it when replying to Dusan Writer on Twitter earlier. He said, "What's wrong with metanomics? Is it too old school?"
Oh, okay.
Because I said it would make a good show name, but I don't know what he meant really. But
Yeah,
it's probably
yeah.
just his way of connecting. Right, anyway, so to get down to the news and stuff. Today is the 25th of July, and it would probably not require a massive amount of mathematical ability to figure out that when I say this is the news for the last week, it's actually for the 7 days ending on the 25th of July. We were here last week, so we've only got 7 days to worry about this time round.
Phew.
Yes, so that's going to be a relief, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, sitting next to me, of course, is my regular partner here, James Outloud. Welcome, James.
Well, thank you, Mal. It's good to see you again. Back
You
on
have
our regular schedule.
Yes, indeed. Despite the fact that one of our microphones seems to just a bit
On our
interfere.
microphones,
And
right?
thank God we have multiple microphones here.
Yep.
Right,
But
okay.
I
So
have a new shirt.
I was about
So,
to say,
oh,
yes.
okay. This was from. It's so fun to see new shirts. So I've got this came from an artist goes by the name Loki Elliott. He's
Oh
from
gosh,
Loki
yes. Well,
Elliott's.
we know Loki, a good
Uh
old
huh.
timer.
So
Yeah.
beautiful shirt, summer vibes, and Loki released a whole series of shirts this week. So this was quite
Yeah.
nice. Yep. So thank you, Loki.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I always think of Loki as a bit of a sort of tiny and flamboyant sort of avatar,
Ah,
but
okay.
I think his persona and what he does seems to be a weird. Well, it's obviously defined a bit by the platforms, but it's a little bit different here, I suppose.
Right, right,
Second Life, where I guess we first know him from.
right.
Um, right. Okay. Well, that is good. Might you find it's not as loud as a normal at loud,
True, true.
but
Right.
it is far from not loud. So
Yeah,
there
okay.
we have it. A brand new not loud shirt from James Out Loud.
I feel more words coming. More new words today.
Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, well as sporting t-shirts, James also fiddles with knobs behind the scenes. He
Mm.
switches
Hmm.
my avatar view to my desktop view and things like that, operating the cameras and all the multiple mics that we have, except we only have one and it's not the same one as normal.
Mm.
Yes, very clever. We won't go into that. As long as you can hear me okay, I think we are okay, so to speak. Right. Oh, I forgot I put the intro picture away. So looking at the screens here, we're on our first link already, so to speak.
Hmm.
What have I missed? I'm sure I missed something. I've done a date, I've done
Yeah,
you, I've
yeah,
done me,
yeah.
and twitter.com/Melbourne. I think we've done everything.
I think so.
Yeah, can't remember. It's the old memories going. Okay, so we're starting where we normally start. This is posted July 19th, the beginning of the week. It's StarGhost.com, SKARREDGHOST.com. And it's his regular week in review, or the week peak as he calls it. Now, you've got to remember, being posted on Monday, he's looking back at the week gone by the week before, the one we've just finished, if you see what I mean. So it's a week starting 2 weeks ago. In general, and of course there'll be a regular Monday one from him again tomorrow, but the one I've got on the screen of course is last Monday, talking about Facebook abandoning BCI's VR grows fast and much more. A much relief all round. I'm gonna have to cover Facebook whether I like it or not a bit this week. Relief all round, I think, that Facebook has actually abandoned its plans to develop a brain-computer interface. I think we become much relieved about that one. I think we mentioned that last week, in fact,
Hmm.
but obviously it's in
Yep.
made for StarGhost. I'm going to just flip down here, but I don't really know there's a great deal here that we wouldn't have covered last week anyway. No, I can't really see anything there. Oh, this was a sort of interesting one. Netflix, they're the movie people who show you movies on. They've actually hired Facebook's head of AR and VR, who is presumably no longer at Facebook. I think the idea is they want to move into games. Apparently, there's more money in streaming games than there is streaming movies, which is surprising. Although obviously games have been bigger than movies for a long while, but yeah, even on the streaming side. Anyway, I'm not going to go linger there. It takes too long. So simply go to StarGhost.com for that roundup of the week. And I think we have a now link, pardon me, coming for his site a little bit later on. I'm going to move on to my next item, which is actually bona fide this week, so to speak. Kathy Hackey is back this week with her regular Monday column at Forbes, and Metaverse Weekly, she calls it. Space Jam premieres with non-fungible trinkets. Buffalo, London collabs with the Fabricant. Harry Potter store gets new VR experiences, and America Express gets into non-fungible trinkets. So, yeah, a bit of a roundup there. None of it, some of it's off my radar, especially the non-fungible business. But it's quite funny, the Harry Potter store, and it's all entertainment, and she's very good at covering that sort of field of things rather than like Charlie Fisk has the more sort of technical updates and things like that. Oh yeah, South Korea's got into the metaverse business. South Korea Telecom have launched a metaverse. Who next? It's called Ifland. Rather funny. Gets me thinking of Marvel Comics' What If, which is now that's now been reborn as a animated TV series.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, SK Telecom. Who next? BT, British Telecom. They're going to launch a metaverse. They're a bit behind there. They probably never heard of a metaverse, but I don't know. Sort of, they're more. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe by the time we've lost Boris, they'll discover the metaverse, whatever it is. Right. Barclaycard Capital, AR Power campaign with a pop singer called Anne Marie. I know a couple of Anne Maries, but none of them are pop singers. So who figures? It's very strange. Obviously, one of these pop singers, it doesn't need a surname. Right. Wyoming. What's a DOO when it's... Oh, it's more cryptography stuff. Right. Zoom have got a German translation company. Marvel, talking Marvel Entertainment, they're going for non-fungible trinkets too. More likely it's been non-fungible trash in their case, but there we go. Design and mint your sneakers with crypto kickers. Oh dear, yeah, well, that's a not typo, but
that's a whole nother story. Wow.
What is it when you misread something like a typo? We got to admit, it looks like it. It's always missing a little N.
Right. That's so funny.
It's got the look. Right, Roblox has partnered with Sony Music. I'm going to go on. You can go to Kathy's blog if you want to read that before I make any more mistakes of that ilk. Right, that's at Forbes.com. It's very easy. FORBES.com. And as I say, it was published Monday, I'm pretty sure. Either that or it was Tuesday morning at 9:15 in the PM. No, it was Monday evening Eastern time, I guess. Yeah, and that's her roundup too. So we have StarGhost with a roundup, and we have her with a roundup.
Yeah.
What can we want? What can we come up want? Well, believe it or not, we have GeekWire.com. Is this another roundup? Is trying to remember. WXR Fund lands $5 million to invest in women-led AR, VR, and AI startups. So this is kind of nice. If you're an aspiring gentleman wanting to work in VR, forget it. This is a fund for women only. Yes. All good stuff, of course. The fund was founded by Amy Lamea, who I'm very familiar with on Twitter. I'm not sure who Martina Wilcoff is. The only venture capital firm at the intersection of the next wave of computing and female founders. And they're based in Seattle. Not much more to report there. It is just an announcement, so to speak, but rather good to hear. And you can find that posted at geekwire.com, GEEKWIRE.com. And moving on down, we're getting up to speed today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, well, the first of our videos, and of course, this is one of our highlights of the week when it comes to video. Really. James is fond of it too. I only got about 15 minutes into it this week, and I thought, I'm going to come back to it. And guess what? The way it went, the way of the world, so to speak.
Right. The rest of the world transpired. Right.
Yes, exactly. They also talk about Facebook cancelling their mind reading operations. So thank goodness. And sort of, the only sad bit about this is it might. Well, I doubt if you could afford to. No, I'm going to forget about it. I'm going to say we'll probably get an announcement next week that Trump launches mind reading experiment. He can't even read his own mind, so what the hell?
Right.
And Steam Deck do VR. I'm not quite sure what that was about. Anyway, this is a good show. Always worth watching. The show itself is called VR Download. You can see that there, and but it's on YouTube at the site that is actually called Upload VR. All one word there. Upload with VR attached to it in capitals at the end.
Yep.
And you can get that. Or of course, if you find my Twitter feeds, you can follow this link. And you can also go to mastodon.social/metaworld. I think we worked out it was.
Oh, right, right. I have a lower third for that.
Yeah, but it is actually all linked to my Twitter feed now anyway, so it's no major problem there, so to speak. Yeah, so you can play it from this thing, by the way, without going to YouTube. But it's an hour and 20 minutes.
Let's do it.
So it's probably not going to hurt you to click through to YouTube.
Hello and welcome to another episode of VR Download, a weekly show where we discuss hardware and industry news and all sorts of fun stuff from the Upload Virtual Studios. We're here, we're live, we're on YouTube, and we can see everyone who is chatting right now on our...
Yeah, well. Oh, that's a thought. I better look behind me to see if I can see anything chatting here. No, I haven't got a very good view at the back of my head anyway. Right, okay, so, yeah. You'll find this at mastodon.social, and then it's slash at symbol and then Metaworld. If I think that's what it is. But all via Twitter, whatever you want. So always a good show to listen to, that one actually. All right, moving on. I'm in danger of getting this show over in 15 minutes flat at this rate.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't think so. There's still lots of the list left yet. Right, Virtual Planet, the societal impacts of VR. A bit of a essay here, really, isn't it? This is a regular site, vrfocus.com, vrfocus.com. And they're talking about VR, obviously, since its inception. There's been much deliberation over whether its positive effects on society outweigh the negatives. Back in the old days, we used to get a lot of negative press about gamers being addicted and spending so much time in there. I've never really thought that applies to virtual reality or virtual worlds, or at least certainly not to the same extent. Anyway, after all, humans are incredibly social creatures, brackets for the most part. I'm glad they remember me. And our civilization thrives off other human interactions. How does VR impact this, of course? And yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's from Spatial, the screenshot there. But then they, it's a roundup of stuff. Positive impacts. I think there's a bit on negative. Yeah, negative impacts. See, yes, they said it for me, haven't they? Gaming addiction has always been a problem, blah, blah, blah. And the conclusion, when used correctly, VR can be an amazing tool for various things, blah, blah, blah.
How about
It been there, done that, but if you want something to read of that ilk, you can get it there. Nice title, Virtual Planet, the Societal Impact. I don't know about the VR, because they're... oh, well, now I guess they are referring to hardware-driven VR. In other words, legless avatars in 3D spaces, basically. Right, okay. Better not comment too much on that. Okay. Now, here's another nice one. This is Investigating the Metaverse. This is Kathy Hackey again. And, oops. As you can see, there's very little to read there, but the reason is, if I can just toggle here, yeah, there we are. This is the actual website itself. It is an audio interview, basically, which doesn't show up on the reader. But, what is it, 26 minutes.
Hello, Hello and welcome to another episode of Talk About Tomorrow, the Futurist podcast with me, Tom Cheesewright. And this is one of those bonus episodes where I get to bring somebody exciting, interesting, somebody who's changing the world on to talk to me about a particular issue. And this episode, it is Kathy Hackle. Welcome, Kathy.
Excited to be here, Tom. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, and it's a particular pleasure.
It's true. Her name is Hackle. I always call her Hacky for some reason, because when I see it, I think it's an I, but it's not. It's an L. So Kathy Hackle, yes. Hackle without shackles.
Yeah, right.
You know, when you're trying to remember a name, you need to associate it with something else.
Mm-hmm.
So if I try and remember shackle, I might remember Hackle.
Right. Oh, I do the same thing.
If you get me. Yes,
Yep.
Indeed. Anyway, where do you go to find this audio interview, as it were? 26.5 minutes of it. It's actually tomcheesewright.com. That's right. So it's TomCheesewright. tomcheesewright.com. And as you can see at the tag at the top here, he calls himself an applied futurist, which probably describes Kathy too, come to think of it, but there you go. So again, you'll find the links on my Twitter feed, of course, but Kathy gets everywhere, to be honest. But it's always good to come across another interview with her. I mean, somebody can be interviewed 20 times, and it's really much down to the person interviewing them. As themselves, whether it's kind of a repeat of the same thing. Some people get interviewed and it's like they close their mouth and put a tape recorder on because they've worked out all the replies in advance, whereas other people react with their interviewers and come up with new things. So a good interviewer will coax some new thoughts out of a guest who you think you actually know. So this one was quite interesting on general. Right, moving on from that one. And here we are, Epic Games. Well, along with the God Emperor Zuki, Epic Games have been acquiring a lot of things recently too. And this week they actually acquired Sketchfab, which is a massive 3D object library compatible with AR and VR headsets. Not just the headsets, by the way. It's basically a huge library of 3D models. And they've been around for a long while. But by being acquired by Epic Games, obviously allows them to, associate it with the Unreal Engine and sort of, let's see what to say. Founded in 2012, their Sketchfab plays host to over 4 million 3D assets, and all of which you can get through the web on PC, mobile, and now through headsets, of course, too. So, quite a big move that, because a lot of people have used Sketchfab over the years, often for just 3D objects and things, nothing to do with bringing them into virtual worlds or anything like that, let alone into headsets. But it's a good cache of, good quality, for the most part, anyway. 3D.
Yeah, some of our furniture here in the studio, I think, came from Sketchfab, if I'm recalling correctly.
Did it?
Yep.
Oh, right, yes. Yeah, I mean, Sansar probably has a, yeah. Yeah, good point. And I mean, it's just, I think Sciencebase is the same. You can import from Sketchfab and stuff like that. So a good acquisition for Epic. I mean, so long as they don't do something stupid, like sort of try and map it into their own walled garden.
Epic do something stupid? Oh, no, not possible.
But they are, well, take AutoCorp, for instance. They are, after all, going to be building the Metaverse.
The Metaverse. Yep.
So if they are going to own and build the Metaverse, then maybe these assets that they've acquired will be exclusive to the Metaverse, which will be exclusive to Epic.
I hope our desk doesn't disappear suddenly.
Yeah. Sketchfab says its aim is to make CD, AR, and VR content more accessible and grow its creator ecosystem. Something that says it's critical to an open and interconnected metaverse. So as long as they stick with that one, thin on the ground, the details of the acquisition, but Sketchfab says it will remain independently branded, but working closely with Epic. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
So there we go.
Yep.
Yeah. And let's see, what's it for? Right, there's a little bit about Hawaii motion controller patents at the bottom there, but the actual the thing is really just about Epic and Sketchfab there. So there we go. You'll find this at roadtovr.com, ROADTOVR.com. And moving on. This is nice. Now, if we want the idea, I suppose it's at vrscout.com, VRSCOUT.com. Now, ReadyPlayerMe have been around for a while, and they allow you to scan your face in, and they make an avatar for you, and you can bring it into SoundCloud here or into Sciencebase. I think you can take it almost anywhere, including the web places like Hubs. The company behind it is called Wolf 3D. What they've now done is they've become you go there, but they've created a platform that allows you to bring custom 3D avatars across to a growing catalogue of VR apps. So here we are. Right. So having created your avatar with them, they then give you this portal. And you can choose like Mozilla Hubs, VR Chat, Somnium Space, all the different worlds that can use that avatar. You can go to them in one click. So
awesome.
Let's say I've got my avatar in Tivoli, which actually is a custom avatar. It's not made by these people, but I can, it could have been made here, and then I could take it to the world I actually want to use. And there's something about the essence of this that really is kind of metaverse-y, if we can go into it. The idea that their job is to make avatars for you. And having made that, they're literally providing the portal that allow you to take them, into various games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I made an avatar with them some while ago, and I can't forget where I initially put it. But
where did I put that? Where did I put that body? Body's hidden.
Exactly, it might. I think I might even have one here actually, but the thing is, if I record it and remember it to Wolf 3D here, then it doesn't matter where I actually kept it. I mean, if I've got it in say Mozilla Hubs but not VR Chat, it hopefully won't matter because I will go to VR Chat via this hub and take it with me. And there was an open avatar project many years ago. It was Bruce is Joy. What's his? I can't remember the name of his world now. It's so long ago. But yeah, the idea was you would have an avatar and they would make you could download it in various formats. So you could use it on the web or you could use it in various worlds and whatever. But it still meant downloading it and then downloading the version you wanted and then uploading it to the platform that supported it and whatever. Whereas, this is just so straightforward. All you have to do is select connect avatar and sign in to your profile on that world. And next time you log on to the app itself, the new avatar should be... Oh, hang on. No, I think this is the bit where they make the avatar. But anyway, it's the same principle. Let me just see if I can pull this one up. So glorious. Here we are. You can create an avatar or log in. Your passport to the metaverse. All very colourful. Create your own look. They'll pick good avatars as a rule. And well, the easiest way is to take a selfie, and they will build the face around the selfie. See it all happening very quickly in front of our eyes there. And I'm just trying to think where. Oh, it's probably under apps. And these are their partners. Yeah, I think basically the first thing you have to do is create an avatar and basically register it, and then when you log in and you actually have a page which we saw on the previous one, which actually showed all the various games directly. They are here too, but there's so many of them, A to Z. I mean, not all. Well, all of these are platforms that require avatars or use avatars, and this is just the A's. There we are. B. So most of the Santar here, Tivoli, and ones we know are all here, but of course they're down in the S&T department. Come on, let's scroll. Virtual girlfriend life. There we are. Vicadia. Vicadia. Where's the? Let's see them all, can we? It doesn't matter anyway. You get the idea. There's lots here. Worlds, avatar platforms you've probably never even heard of in some cases, but they're all here and ready. And these are the ones they call partners. So I don't know about. Well, I'm going to waste your time and mine if I just stay here scrolling. You can find this at ReadyPlayerMe, which is ReadyPlayer.me. And I'm quickly heading back to where we got the news from, which is VR Scout, in case I didn't get around to mentioning that. This is VRSCOUT.com. And this is the release that basically tells you all about it. And you claim your avatar, and then they do look good, don't they? And then you choose where you're going to go with it. And obviously that's just page one. I also like the fact that, the most popular, and then virtual worlds, and then business and productivity. So they've actually categorized a lot of the platforms where you can take your avatar with you as well, which makes it easier to find maybe new worlds or new platforms you haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
With the same avatar. Yeah.
The work there almost seems to be as much political as it was technical. The technical aspects, understanding different mesh formats and things like that, and different riggings. That's one aspect. But boy, getting these companies to agree is a whole nother thing that's pretty impressive.
Mm. I mean, to be honest, even before this hub, they've going there and making an avatar has, the avatar they've been making, they've been able to take it to a lot of places. So really, I think they're just sort of condensing it all, But obviously, the more they promote a portal to jump to different worlds, the more people that want to be in on the act. And I don't like to say it, but I mean, thinking commercially, at the moment they do avatars, right, and costumes and stuff like that. But they could easily become a sort of marketplace too, where they sell attachments or furniture and stuff.
Right.
Again, that you could keep in an inventory and take to any world you wanted. I mean, there'll probably be a few closed walled gardens like Second Life that will take a long time, if ever, to get in on the act. But,
right.
But there's an awful lot of other stuff there. And I think I have a feeling this is compatible with OpenSim too. They don't mention it because it's not really there's no corporate thing, but it's really a matter of having a format you can get in. And I think their original avatars that you downloaded could actually be uploaded into
I wonder. I don't know. Aren't OpenSim and Second Life avatars, aren't they? There's some aspect of prim mechanics involved there that might not work.
Second Life is odd because if you upload a mesh avatar, you've got to have the mesh avatar configured in all sorts of ways to make it compatible with Second Life.
Right.
But it sounds to me if Second Life got in on this act, ReadyPlayerMe would actually do it for them. They'd take the avatar and convert it into something you can use.
Yep.
In Second Life, importing mesh and stuff is not so bad. My avatar from Science Base, for example, and hubs, and it's in OpenSim too. When I conferences and stuff, it's the same avatar, and I can't bring that into Second Life. I just can't figure out how. It won't accept it. But OpenSim it took a bit of tweaking and help, but it was easy enough to get in.
Right. The thing with mesh avatars is they're always baked. And so Second Life prim avatars are always manipulable. You can manipulate a Second Life or OpenSim avatar, and you can't manipulate a a baked mesh like what Ready
Yeah,
Player One is making.
true. You probably have to, yeah, you probably have to create a body that was going to come in with it and stick with it. You know,
Right, right,
once you got it in, you can't. Like the one I've got in Open Sim. You know,
right. You can't
I
change it.
can't,
Right.
I can't make my body any higher.
Yep.
I can't lose any weight around my waist. You
Yep.
know, I can't do that. I can't even change clothes because the clothes are better. The whole look is baked into one piece.
Yep.
But economically, it's very economical. It's all one mesh. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Absolutely.
uh, and my avatar in Second Life, believe it or not, is a pussycat, which is a mesh with, and it's so fluid and fast, but it's made of very few. You know, I forget what they call it, the count, the weight of your avatar. It's practically nothing compared with the women that have bling all over the place and costume. You know, what one person's costume just creates lag for an entire event. You know. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, but I like this. So VRScout.com for the release there, or you can just go to ReadyPlayerMe, of course. And
Yep.
you can also look at Wolf 3D. They are actually the team behind it, and I think I can't swear to this, and I'm not going to go away and check it now. But I think as Wolf 3D, there is an app on the iPad or iPhone you can get, though whether it's how, you know, it may be much more rudimentary than what they're doing here. So let's. Well, I did have a look on the iPad. I think it was Hamlet Orr was mentioning in New World Notes about Avakin Life being a world that has about 4 million users, and 4 million is not the registered number, it's like the regular people who use it, rather like Roblox and what's the other one, I noted that it's available on the iPad, so I sort of downloaded it on one of my old iPads actually during the week, and I haven't really had the chance to play with it, but it actually looks extremely good for something that's on the iPad. You know, it probably looks as good as the screenshots we're seeing here of ReadyPlayerMe. How things move and what you can do and stuff, because it does advertise itself as an avatar creator too. So it uses the same principle as this. So you make your avatar, but apparently once you've made your avatar, they've got a whole load of worlds for you to explore. And I don't think they really promoted it, because it's promoted as somewhere to go and make an avatar like this. But they have worlds of their own you can use the avatar in. This is much broader in scope, of course, but for something that's on the iPad, the Avakin with a K Life was the name of it. Anyway, I don't have a link to that, so I'm giving you that from memory, but I'm sure Ava, Avakin, and then Life, Avakin Life. So if you've got Mac iOS, you can check that out as well. Right, moving. Oh, notifications going berserk up here. I thought I switched them off, but I haven't. Right, okay. So VRScout.com for that. We're moving on completely, or I'll be talking about this all night. Now we this chap Matthew Ball, I had a link to him the other week, and I think if you this is dated June 28th, and this is part 8 of something called the Metaverse Primer. And really, I've had links to all the sort of chapters here, as it were, in the Metaverse Primer. In fact, I'm just going to open that link in a new tab. And yeah, if you go to matthewball.vc, so MATTHEWBALL.vc, then you get this page, and basically all the sections, all the essays that come a part of it, you can get to individually from here. The latest one, as I said, was content services and asset businesses in the metaverse. But the whole the site, I wish you called the site a Metaverse Primer actually, because this, you know, all these essays grouped together are a Metaverse Primer. Those got a lot of other stuff up there too. So It's one of these sites you can dive in and look around for stuff. And there we are, June 28th. Actually, they're all still on June. And I think links to these have just sort of been posted, bit by bit. So each different essay gets its own mileage, so to speak. Anyway, let me put that away. This one, services, asset businesses, etc., is part 8 of the series. And there's quite a lot to read. There's really quite in depth into history, future, and everything else of the metaverse in all this, if that's the right word, of course. Medal TV on their Discord server too, which is weird. Right, well, look, I'm scrolling. Oh yes, I've got to the end. That one, this link you'll find on my Twitter feed, of course, or you can just go to matthewball.vc. And this is part 8. There is a part 9 too, which is the final. It's a 9-part series, basically, of essays. But the site contains a lot of other stuff too, so good stuff like that. MATTEWBALL.VC. Oh, I hear a... Right, so moving on. Bit practical. I know we're halfway through the year now, but this is the top XR events in 2021 that should be on your Master 10 list. So starting into the second half, it says, or Asia is one. I mean, this either you're a jet setter or you live in one of these locations. I don't know, or both. I don't know. The Asia one, for example. I mean, people like Charlie Fink are obviously heading out there, been booked in for it. Obviously HGC are dominant over there. VRAR Global Summit. This is the European edition. Not quite sure where it is. Might all be on there line for all I know. Here we are. It takes place on the Hopin. Oh, Hopin. Oh, okay. Right. It's on the platform called Hopin there. Right. View 2021. This is in October. Oh, it's quite a nice graphic, actually. Sort of cartoon style. Anyway, that's in Turin. And it's about virtual FX computer graphics, really. Well, that's it. Asia in November. Oddly enough, it's probably not as... here we are. They're all pretty international ones anyway. There's only 6 listed here, which surprises me. Of other years, not necessarily last year, but years before that, there would be quite a lot more events. But I guess they're really just, getting back online after a year in lockdown. I'll just flip through to the website too here, which looks different, but it's actually the same text. So there you go. arpost.co for this one. This is this problem when I do things like that. I fall into the advertising zone, don't I? Right, let's get back to normal here. Right, okay, so arpost.co, not com, just co for that one, roundup of events. Right, moving on. Now, this is something that's actually literally just finished here in Sansar. It was mostly on Australian time, so by I think the last events were at about 5 o'clock today or something, and it was mostly a paying event too. But it was a festival called Splendor XR, first of a kind visual experience, multi-day party in Australia's Byron Bay. Now, this picture is actually quite a nice one of it. I was in here earlier and it was very difficult to get in to some places which I suspect are the sort of surrounds and abouts of this festival. Fortunately, it didn't affect to get places like this studio and stuff like that. But I think it must have been very popular. I don't know how well you can actually see this picture. Yeah, I'm looking at it in world now, and all I'm really seeing are the sort of bit bright lights where I'm moving my hand. But actually, there are literally a whole load of people there that you can't
Really?
really see. Yeah, and the reason I like this picture is because it gives a demonstration just how many avatars they managed to get into the thing in one place.
Yeah, let me see if I
Uh,
can zoom in on that.
yeah, it's going to be. It's a shame, actually. There's a lot of other pictures that have been coming up. So even though it's over, I thought it's worthy of celebrating.
Yeah, I can
And
see it a little bit here on this other monitor. Yeah, those are all avatars?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. All
And
right.
this is a unique one because they've rigged it, I think, because they've moved the camera to the behind the stage, looking out into the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the events took place using different sort of multimedia things. I mean, many were like some of the other sci-fi events, which were filmed in advance on green screens
Mm-hmm.
and then projected to the audience, mixing the virtual background and stage.
Ah, okay.
One performer even did it all on Discord, which confused an awful lot of people.
I imagine, right.
The Discord video was projected into the world there, but the audio was on. I don't know, but apparently some people were really a bit taken aback by that.
Right,
I
right.
guess because it meant they were switching out to something else. But yeah, there's quite a few photos around. I don't know if I've got any more here that actually really give you an idea of this. This is Billboard.com, which is a big site for entertainment. BILLBOARD.com. And obviously this event was based in Brisbane, Australia, although obviously virtually. But the title of this is How Splendor's team created a pandemic-proof festival, and they've gone and looked into it. Splendor XR is a grand design, but built out of necessity, and designed to look and feel like a much-loved multi-day party in Byron Bay, which is Australia. The organisers hatched a bold plan. Yes, they did. This sounds like a book, this. They had a bold plan. Yeah, that's good. It sounds like I do it. A huge project, etc., etc. And like Khalid and the Killers were two very big bands that played there. O'Grimes is another. O'Grimes, I think, was the one that was accused of doing half of it on Discord. I'm a bit confused about this sort of saying they were working alongside Linden Lab. I mean, I don't know that. I think they meant they would have been working with. I forget their name now. The people that run Sansar. Linden Lab still have an arrangement with them, but it's the Linden Lab handle all the finance for Sansar. In other words, if you buy assets in Sansar, you'll find your money goes to Linden Research, as opposed to Wookiee, whatever they're called. Anyway, there's still a bit of thing there, and the stars they've had. Coldplay. I saw a new video from Coldplay today, which is the biggest rip-off of the Pink Floyd ever. I think they meant them. They decided they wanted to sound like the Pink Floyd again, which they did when they began. But I found it a bit pretentious. But never mind. I'm not here to do music reviews. Right. Anyway, so a good little roundup there. I've seen through Twitter and various other posts quite a few other pictures that have been posted up, and you really do get the thing. We showed a video the other week, which was of the empty site where it's been built, and you came all the way down the hill in the outdoors through those trees, if you can make them out there, into the big sort of amphitheatre space. It was just grass where the audience in this picture is sitting. And then looking at the stage, because obviously, unlike some of the other ones, it was built to feel and look like an open air event. So it's an outdoor stage as opposed to some of the indoor stage events that they've held. Anyway, Billboard.com if you want to read that little review. But I'm sure you can find out much more about it elsewhere and dig up Sansar's Discord channel or on Twitter. Loads of people posting photographs from it, which give you an idea of just how many people they got in there. Right, moving on. Now, I guess I said I'm going to have to deal with Facebook today, as well as giving up their brain interface. I hope I've got this right, but this took me a bit by surprise. This is supposed to upload VR from a few days ago. Apparently, the Facebook are actually killing off their proprietary API for Oculus, and they're going to move it to the OpenXR API. Now, this should be good news because OpenXR is not proprietary. It's like open source. I mean, SteamVR is connected to OpenXR, I know. And yeah, there's a big working group behind it, but it surprises me that, I mean, you could understand the work involved in the brain interface. They might want to give up on that, but I'm actually surprised that they're giving up on their own API, which stands for Application Programming Interfaces, but it's the thing people use to connect with Facebook services or Oculus services. And it's interesting. I mean, August next year, their current ones will be unsupported, and the existing applications will continue to function on Oculus devices, but new applications will be required. And to use OpenXR unless the waiver is provided, etc., etc. And in the interim, Facebook will help developers build new applications with OpenXR via their developer site and perform question and answer testing of OpenXR to ensure features are working. So I'm not that savvy on the, if I download an API, I don't know what to do with it, but I understand what people who do know what to do with it do. Yeah, this came as a bit of a shock to me. It's just everything I ever think about Facebook involves trying to grab everything and monopolize, whereas to actually switch something fairly crucial in their system to an open system, maybe they've figured they can't own the metaverse without doing it. Maybe Zuckerberg's had a brainwave. I don't know. Anyway, they say they've got months of work to do the porting of virtual desktops and etc. Yeah. Okay. It's a roundup, and then they've got a link there to the Oculus developer blog too. What I think is probably relatively good news on the Oculus front.
Could be.
Yeah. Anyway, read all about it at uploadvr.com. And moving on, there's somebody called Zuckerberg here. Sorry, Zuckerberg. I'll get that right I'll get it right one day. I never pronounce that name. To me, it's just got Zuki, isn't it? Right. Zuckerberg's views on the metaverse and interoperability. He did a big interview during the week where he actually laid out his 5-year plan to make Facebook known as, instead of a mobile internet company or a social network site, he wants it to be known as a metaverse company. We've known about Facebook's motivation to explore the next computing platform for some time, but this is the most public exploration of the CEO's future vision. And he had a recent interview with The Verge. They quoted here, whatever. This is an independent site called virtualperceptions.com. So the chap writing here is independent, shall we say. VIRTUALPERCEPTIONS.com, virtual perceptions, or squashed as one word.com. And they're citing the Matthew Ball's vision in the metaverse too that we were on at his site a few minutes ago. Yeah. he talks about open access. Most people have read this summaries of what he said during the week and said, but all his money comes from advertising, and he doesn't seem to have mentioned any advertising in this vision, which has made people worry a bit that maybe the devil's in the detail in terms of what is not mentioned in his vision. But anyway, this is Immersive Wire is virtualperceptions.com. So you can get their weekly newsletter. It's quite a useful one. In fact, I think you can get it on the web too. It's good. Tom Fisk here is actually based in London. I imagine. He's no fan of Facebook, by the way. He's obviously tried to give a straightforward account there. Anyway, you'll find that virtualperceptions.com, as I said. And right, the Dean Beats. This is Dean Taka, or whatever his name, Dean Takahashi, I think he's called. There we are. The Dean Beat. Now, the learnings of the week in games. Now, this is only relevant. I don't normally cover games at all. But basically, with the Game Developers Conference, GDC, sorry, CDC is something else, was online only this year, and it's just finished, but there were about 550 talks, which happened during the week, and well, this is a few days ago, so he says they're still happening today, but that was a few days ago. And it's basically a roundup of very, there's not huge amounts there, but it does link to various other places you can go at VentureBeat or GamesBeat. It's worth looking and following links like this to Game Developers Conference, because when it comes to the actual technology behind these games and things, there is often a parallel with virtual worlds and indeed VR headsets and whatever. I mean, even virtual worlds like Second Life would not have ever existed, or even there.com, had it not been for parallel development of games. A virtual world is not a game per se. It might have games in it. It's really a social space. But the underlying technology is very much shared with games. We have multiplayer games online before we have social worlds online. It's always been a trade-off, because games obviously initially came on things like DVDs or CDs, and they were fixed. They had their entire content available offline, and even when they went online, it was really just an expansion kind of thing. Whereas virtual world was very different. Often in Second Life or OpenSim, for example, or here in Sansar and SciSpace maybe, the users actually create the content for themselves. This has never been the case in games. Games are things manufacturers bring to you to play. They're an entertainment. But as I say, the underlying technology is, there is some underlying technology that's good for both. So you can find Dean Takahashi and various links there for the Game Developers Conference at venturebeat.com, venturebeat.com. Right, move that. Right, back to our video department, so to speak. It's quite fairly sparse this week. There was another Ore Night. I forget where this one came from, but it was English language, if I'm pretty sure. This one, but they were looking at haptics for increased immersion. In fact, I will actually click through to it. We've got time, and it will allow me to. Allow me to tell you where to go. There we are. The account you want at YouTube is AWE or dash Augmented World Expo. We're going to get started as people still slowly filter in, but thank you so much for joining today. Today's on-night haptics for increased immersion. We're excited for honestly an incredibly deep panel for talking about haptics today and how we're really seeing true innovations that are allowing us to not just. Okay, this is an hour and 2 minutes. Quite an interesting panel, including Noni de la Pena, I think I've got her name right, who's often called the godmother of VR, I think is their expression. Yeah, one of the pioneers of virtual reality and virtual worlds and things from way back.
Engage with our eyes, or with our ears.
I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, of course. But anyway, or augmented reality exposed the account you need there, and this is haptics for increased immersion. However, if all you want to do is watch it, you can get it on my Mastodon and social account here, which is linked to Twitter. So if you get me on Twitter, you can click through and you can play it from here as well. Okay, don't know why I did that. It's the same thing. Right. Okay, and there's two more videos actually. The other one, we are now back. This one is a follow-up to what I talked about a minute ago. This was an interview with CNBC, their sort of tech broadcast. Mark and the Metaverse. Can't think who they're talking to. Oh, here they are. They call him Zuck. Right, well, it's almost as good as my Zucky, isn't it? A bit more memorable than Zuckerberg. Anyway, lays out his plans. Let me think. This is 4 minutes.
Mark loves the Metaverse. Our next guest sat down with Zuckerberg in a rare one-on-one interview yesterday. Writer of Platformer, Casey Newton, joins us now. Casey, great interview with Mark Zuckerberg, but explain to me, what does it mean for Facebook, an ad-supported social platform? What does it mean for that to be a Metaverse company?
Well, we're going to find out probably over 10 years. This thing is still in its earliest stages, but one way that you can think about it is a move away from Facebook's traditional advertising business, although I'm sure they will still find ways to put ads into VR. Mark Zuckerberg talked with me a lot about digital payments, creating virtual goods, using cryptocurrencies, empowering creators and artists, creating virtual performance spaces. So if he has his way, this metaverse is going to enable essentially an entire economy, and that means all sorts of different ways for Facebook and other companies to monetize it.
Casey, so we basically are going to be all living our lives in a virtual space created by and owned by Mark Zuckerberg. And if that's the case, even if it's many years in the future, does it make sense for Zuckerberg to be talking about this right now when there is so much regulatory scrutiny of the company, not just from an antitrust perspective, but also in terms of the way they have perhaps allowed misinformation to spread on the platform, which has been a critique of the Biden administration?
Yeah, certainly I think the timing here is rather surprising. As you note, the government is currently trying to break Facebook up, and now here's Facebook saying we want to be a bit bigger. But at the same time, I think Zuckerberg would also say that in his view of a metaverse, it's not owned by any one company. Lots of companies participate in this, and they're much more interoperable than the tech giants we have on the internet are today. So I suppose if Facebook wanted to make an argument that this would be a pro-competition thing, they would say we want to be one of many companies building these parts of the metaverse, not just one.
Okay, well, you can. It's only 4 minutes, but I'm not going to play all of it. That would be cheating. And do you believe it? Another question. Entirely. Yeah, so you can find my Twitter links to get to that one, obviously. And that is also on YouTube, by the way. They see CNBC posted on YouTube, which makes it easier for you to replay, other than my popping it into our program, which would be a bit naughty, really. Right, okay, so moving on from that one. Okay. Right, these, therefore, are the latest ones we have now. Okay, I'm going to start by going to the final video. As usual, we have Charlie Fink and Ted with a guest, Roy Taylor, with the This Week in XR's podcast. And you'll find it on YouTube as that, or you can simply play it here. Interesting, as always, although a bit like this show. It is a bit, or even Kathy Hackles on Monday, has become like a bit of a resume. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but you know, sort of it's down to the editors and the compos really what things they feature. Just as it's down to me, yes, me, what I feature on this program. So anyway, good stuff usually. Very eloquent, serious stuff to follow. Anyway, so I've got myself in the wrong order here. I've just got 2 more pieces to go. Right, this one is Forbes again. Now this one is basically Charlie Fink again, with Epic Games buying Sketchfab and welcome to the Zuckerverse. I don't quite get that. Click your heels together and say Metaverse 3 times. The chasm between concept and reality here is huge. Yes, it's the word on everybody's lips. So he's basically reporting on the fact that, again, the God Emperor spoke. That's it. He made a pronouncement. He addressed the masses of the empire, saying what he's going to be doing in the future. So find this one at Forbes.com, Forbes.com. What I'm a bit puzzled about is I don't seem to have a link for actually the week in the Metaverse at Forbes. Do I have the YouTube just a second there? Maybe he hasn't actually done a text roundup this week. I had Kathy Hackles instead. Anyway, there it is. So I'm going to put that one away now. And I'm now on the final item for this week. And this is odd. This is, I think, now I'm not sure where this is given to me by a design writer or whether he's actually the one who wrote this. Sometimes when people start saying, I think this, I think that, and then they don't actually sign it at the end, you don't know who's doing. Anyway, so the focus here basically is on architecture. If these walls could talk, Pico-Valesque architecture and the metaverse, the word again, of course. The architect is pushing the boundaries of physical architecture and spatial experiences. The lessons she's learned have implications for how we think about the design of the, the opposite of the metaverse. And he says he discovered reflective architecture from an idea explored by John Bouchard, who was an architecture in Second Life back in 2007. So really this is just a sort of a thing about using virtual worlds, basically. Okay. Some of you may just remember that building, right, was the main stage of the Metanomics show in Second Life. John Bouchard was actually instrumental with the writer of this in actually designing it.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah, way back when, yeah.
Right.
Wow. It's 15 years ago or something. 2007, 17.
Wow.
Helped me realize that his work has helped open up new ways of thinking about physical world and our relationship to space. It took almost 15 years to achieve a similar shift in thinking. And it happened because of Pico-Valesque, who is the architect in Grace. So kind of interesting. Nicely illustrated article here too. The Oculus is nothing to do with the Oculus headset, by the way. In fact, that's real life, if I'm right. So that Hard Rock Casino and Hotel. Oh no, that's. This is a good question. It doesn't. It looks virtual, but no, I think they've done something there. That's probably a video screen. Interesting. It definitely has a virtual quality. In the foyer of a Hard Rock Casino. Talking about Burning Man, Samsung. Quite a lot to read there. If you're interested in architecture and the look of virtual worlds, then some good stuff to read on that one. And we had another link to the site not so long ago. I remember it because it's harder to read out. It's too long to fit in my menu bar, so I've got it at the side here. All right. outofscope.bureauofbrightideas.com. Right. OUTOFSCOPE dot BUREAUFBRIGHTIDEAS.com. Wouldn't it be at times like this? I realise how those t.co links that Twitter does are actually bloody useful, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Except then you still got to remember all the numbers, which is probably worse than long words. Anyway, so yeah, that is that, and that is our show. That is all over.
Really?
For this week, it is.
Oh my
Have
goodness.
I done a record or anything?
It feels record breaking. Yeah, 1 hour and 10 minutes.
Okay, not bad. I mean, I was getting through stuff pretty quick.
Yeah.
This week, and the list was a bit shorter. So so a normal week would have been 90 minutes at that rate. But so I have everything.
Yeah.
And I resisted playing the videos because it's as long as I tell you they're there, it's not particularly fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So any thoughts? Any thoughts, James, on all that?
Oh, nothing particular about any of the stories other than some of the Oculus things. But I just had a personal story. I had we're having some family gatherings here in Midwestern United States, and my niece and nephew came, and I introduced them to the Oculus Quest and took them into VR chat. And I quickly learned that my niece is a bit of a griefer. Because she was running through VR chat and grabbing drinks from avatars and throwing them, and it was like, whoa, what brought this out? And I talked with her a little bit, and of course, it's the anonymity, being someone who you're not in a virtual world is very liberating. Not always to a good result.
Yeah, basically, he's up to a load of mischief and can get away with it.
Exactly, right. And the only downside was, hey, this is my VR chat account. I don't want to get banned.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So I thought that was hilarious. Yeah.
That can be a problem. Yeah. But of course, there's that famous story, isn't there? That came out recently again. The late Ebby Oldberg, the CEO of Second Life, he first encountered it and took his kids in, which was illegal at the time because they were underage.
Right. Yep.
And they ran havoc. And got him banned. So
Great.
yeah, I once got banned by. I got banned by Lyndon Love once. So
you did?
It was at one of the birthday bills or something, and we'd been hit by spammers, and half of my constructs had been scattered around into adjacent parcels and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it had nothing to do with me,
mm-hmm.
But somebody reported an object that was, attributed to me and whatever. But Lyndon always been very good with me. I mean, the moment I actually told something about it, I mean, within 5 minutes, I was reinstated. They realised what had gone on. Basically, I always had a good reputation there. They knew damn well I would never.
Right.
I would never get up to willingly get up to break the rules or whatever.
Right.
But it is funny, and I mean, of course, when the team grid vanished and the team started sort of hopping in, it's a bit of. There's something online in my Second Life feed actually. Somebody did an in-world video which was a walk through the team grid or something, which I didn't actually know it exists anymore. I mean, it doesn't as a separate entity, but it may be that the land that formed the team grid is still on the main grid somewhere.
I heard something coming back, but I wasn't thinking it was Second Life.
Yeah, I don't think the team grid was partitioned away from the Second Life proper, so you couldn't move between them. But I think when the team grid went down, the content of the team grid was brought back on the adult grid for posterity. I mean, you can't go wrong putting the team grid on the adult grid for posterity. It would only have been the other way around that could have caused problems, if you see what I mean. So maybe it's in some of the archived areas and people can get to it if they want. Like strange Linden realms that have long since fallen into memory. You know, you can still. I don't know. Somebody did I think it was a photo and a quick little blog piece not so long ago on the first ever prim to be resident in Second Life. It's still there. I don't even think it was Phillips, but so it's the first prim ever that got dropped. And it's a cube. It's a cube. They didn't do anything with it. They just dropped it, but it's immortalized because back when it was Linden World, that was the first time the prim dropped.
Right.
Somebody at the lab dropped it. So yeah. It's one of those curious pieces of archaeology. Actual virtual archaeology. I know it's actually a Second Life group. I don't think it's there anymore because I was in it, and I can't even remember leaving it. I think it may have been disbanded, but there was actually a virtual archaeology group. And it must be 10 years ago or something else. I joined that, but I think they have weekly or bi-weekly meetings. And basically, they were archiving the important stuff of Second Life, and just like real archaeologists do, digging up stuff to, history and cataloguing it and stuff like that. Buried under this mountain is an original Linden cottage or something. That kind of sense of archiving, which. I mean, I actually think the great thing about archaeology is actually recreating real world builds in the virtual world. I think that's absolutely great. But of course, there's no to stop you recreating what was virtual in the first place. So.
Right. Well, even in my video games, in my RPG games, I like creating a little bit of a history of where I've been. So I think that might just be a common instinct in our minds, in our culture.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, in Second Life and stuff, it tends to be down to bookmarks, and then you end up with so many, you get confused. And I was, I suppose I try and keep a history of stuff in. I tend to remember places where I first went, if they're maybe not there anymore.
Right.
But, but I don't know, the storytelling of virtual. It's like on my own region. Which isn't there at the moment, but on OpenSim, for example, and Grid, the storytelling location is as it goes kind of thing. Well, obviously you don't need to remember places on your own land, but it all evolves as a linear kind of thing. I had an adventure there and I moved there, and oh good gosh, that hadn't been properly terraformed, and I had to do this, and there's a story that just goes along and maybe not interesting particularly, but, so I tend to remember things that way. The thing, and sometimes I'll stand there and think, when I was first here, there were only 2 sims, and I did something over there, and no one forgotten about it.
Right.
So that also applies there. When it's all your own sort of creation. It's like being a god and forgetting you made a world.
That never happens. What are you talking about?
Some people say that.
There are just so many forgotten things, right?
Yeah, some say that's a parallel with the real world, but people do think about those things. Yeah. Anyway, back to whatever. So I keep trying to put this screen away and show something else, but of course there is nothing else to see. There's just a pretty piece of that desktop. There you go. At least there's a picture there to go out with. Actually, I put it away, but there's no reason I can't bring back. This is what we had last week, if I recall.
Oh, right. There it is.
Zoom. Yes.
Whee!
Yeah, switch the screen video on. Yeah. I like that.
Good
Right,
times.
okay.
Good times.
Yeah, good times, yeah. So I guess we can call it quits and say goodbye to them all. Yeah.
All right.
Until next week. So let's do this the way we do it. It's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him.
Which means it's goodbye from us. And who the hell are we? Well, we told you that at the beginning, so you'll have to rewind now. Yeah. Okay, that's it. We will be back same time, same place next week. That is actually Sunday. Goodness, what it, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and 7 p.m. UK time, and 8 p.m. European time. God, I'm getting good at this now, aren't I? Yeah, I think that's right. Same time, same place, and of course you can get the replays on YouTube on my personal account, not about at any time. So, yeah, we're off. We're out of here. Stay safe, everybody. I don't know what it's like wherever in the world you are, but forget that the plague has not yet gone away. Stay indoors if you can. Wear a mask if you can. Get vaccinated if you can, and have regular checks if you can, and just stay safe. And don't listen to a word that Boris says if you're in the UK, because it's just let everybody out at the beginning of the week, and all hell has broken loose. Which we could have predicted, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Anyway, stay safe, everybody, and we will return next week. Bye for now. My pleasure.